Let's welcome to the program for the first time, Jeremy Kennedy. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about Bellator 302, just right around the corner. Hey, I'm curious, do you have to prepare differently, not in practice and preparation, but preparation to travel? And what do you have to take different that you may not need if let's say, the fight was in Vegas?
Yeah, so the biggest part is just traveling when you're cutting weight. It's and then the time change as well is what you always got to worry about. But for my career, I've spent a lot of it overseas, and and fighting in different people's hometowns in Brazil, Australia, Morocco. So I've kind of I'm used to it. So for other fighters, I can see it being difficult, but I leave a lot earlier so that I'm not necessarily cutting weight during the travel. So I can kind of eat a little bit. So I'm actually leaving this Friday, a full week beforehand, and then that'll give me a couple days to adjust to the time zone and get my sleep in order, and then boots on the ground and figure out where the food is and all that.
How difficult, and I always ask fighters this, it's, and I always say it's a work week or a work 2 weeks, whatever it is. Your main focus is obviously the fight a week from Friday. But to also maybe enjoy, if it is a different city or if a different country you've never been there, how is that such a fine line to walk?
Yeah, I mean, I stick to strictly fitness while I'm out there. I'll usually just stick around a couple days after the fight. That way, I can enjoy the food of whatever city I'm in or just sightseeing and all that. But prior, I don't really enjoy too much of the city just because I'm so focused on the fight. And they keep us pretty busy, with like photo ops and conferences and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty busy when I'm out there. And it is a fine line to make sure that you aren't on vacation. It is a work week. That's why I like to stick around, but after.
Perfect. And one of the items that, that I was always thinking about when I talk to the fighters about preparing is as simple and as silly as a power cord. They're not the same all over the world, and if you don't bring the right one, you could be screwed.
That's exactly. That's why my career of fighting overseas has paid off. I got a bag of a bunch of universal outlets, and then I have a travel portable sauna just in case, because I never really know what I'm going to deal with, whether to cut the weight if I have access to a sauna or a bathtub or whatever. How we cut weight is. And then a food scale and just all these little things that I think I'm going to need, I just make sure I have out there with me.
So Jeremy, I know you come from Canada. Recently there was the first bare knuckle made his debut in Edmonton, Toronto, UFC, obviously recently. But what's the fight culture like now there? I mean, do you stay in touch with it? I mean, obviously we know GSP and the greats, Elias Theodoro, rest in peace. But, what's the fight culture like in Canada? Because it seems like it's growing rapidly now.
Oh yeah, I mean it was on the rise, and it kind of slowed down around COVID just because it took Canada a little bit longer to get going again compared to the States and stuff like that. But since then it's been booming, man. The scene, especially in BC where I'm from, Battlefield Fight League is local promotion there, and they're putting on shows every other month, and they're on Fight Pass, so they have good streaming and then all the gyms are just booming out there too. So it's, I think in the next few years you're going to see a lot more guys making it to the bigger shows, the UFC, the PFL, Bellator, whatnot. It's just a little bit of a catch up, just with experience-wise.
And in our first segment, I asked Randy if he agreed with me that hockey is the first bare knuckle boxing organization. Do you drop the gloves or do you keep them on if you're a hockey player?
Yeah, you're dropping the gloves, you're dropping the helmet. The ice makes it a little bit more challenging too, so it's even harder.
Jeremy, let me ask you this, because, I ask fighters, when you have a change of opponent, for whatever reason, and obviously in this case it's a good reason, and we'll get to that in a second, but is sometimes a change of opponent a good thing to kind of re-energize as you get closer to the fight, that now you have other things to kind of keep you occupied?
Yeah, especially for this one, obviously with the opportunity, but it is an ideal typically when you're training for a certain style and then it getting changed kind of last minute. You gotta make some switches and all that. During camp is never easy, but for me, I've been training for this opponent specifically for almost a year now. So when I got the switch, it was actually better for me because I spent more time focusing on him than my previous opponent.
Interesting. And with the change, and now you fighting for the title, how do you keep, that out of your mind, and keep this it's another fight in the Bellator system? Title doesn't really come into play. How do you do that?
I don't think that that title is even more motivating, and
Okay.
I think that's going to help my performance. I'm not looking at it as pressure because he's the champ, he's defending, I'm coming in there to challenge. So now I go out there, I fight, I do everything I can, and I walk away with that belt, and it's just giving me the push I've needed, especially switching from 3 rounds to 5 rounds. Just makes me that much more sharp these last few weeks.
Give me your thoughts on the champion, on Pitbull.
I mean, he's obviously the Bellator GOAT. He's like the face of the promotion, and he's a guy I've had my eye on for well before I was even in Bellator. He's been a champion for so long now that you're always looking at the landscape of your division, and he's that guy that's been at the top, and I've always thought I've matched up well with him. Just my style of pressure and my grappling, I think I have a big advantage there, and I think I'm a lot bigger of a guy. I think he's going to have a hard time dealing with size, my youth. It's just all going to come together, and I think he's starting to decline. I don't think he's kind of written off like everybody's trying to do to him right now. He's still that young, hungry guy, but I do think that he's had his time. It's my time.
How do you like this, and I don't want to say it's a merge because it's really not, but with the PFL and Bellator, how do you like how this is going to be playing out?
Yeah, like obviously more acquisition, but I like it. I think it's just going to give a lot more opportunity for the fighters. Now we have options of, fighting in a tournament, which a lot of the Bellator guys have already gone over and done. The PFL guys can have one-off fights rather than having to go into a tournament, and they can fight in Bellator. And then they're also doing their pay-per-view events. So I think it's just you've got a lot more opportunity to be able to fight and earn, and more eyes with one big promotion compared to the 2 promotions battling it out, essentially. So now we've got just one big powerhouse. And, I think just more eyes the better.
So, Jeremy, I'm on your Instagram page right now, and I see you're a triathlon enthusiast. It says training for your next one, July 8th. I don't know how long ago that was posted. 2018. Do you still do them? Do you like them? And I know I just started running this week. My neighbor and I started a challenge. We're up to like 20 miles this week. And Randy, we're trying to get Randy some encouragement. So maybe you can give him some words of wisdom. He's got his daughter getting married in November. We got to get him in shape, got to motivate him. So what can you do to help Randy get off of his sofa and get out there and get after it?
Well, Jamie, before you answer, I want you to know that I do drive by the gym twice a day.
Oh, there we go. That's a start.
That's a start.
I like the triathlon just because it's kind of like a supplementary thing. It gets me out of the fight gym, getting punched in the face and whatnot. But it's just good to get some cardio in and rough work. And I've always liked swimming, so putting it all together is just. I'm not like a marathon guy or anything like that. I just like triathlon, and not even like crazy long distance. I like the standard, so it's a little bit shorter. I think it's
the sprint series, the sprint.
Yeah, the sprint.
Yeah.
Standards of it, but I don't do any of like the Olympic style or crazy long distance. But I mean, to encourage somebody else, I mean, you got to just kind of love it. It's hard to jump into a triathlon or any kind of long distance running or swimming or biking if that's not what you're into. But I would pick one and just focus on that. Maybe biking is probably the easiest. You can bike past it just a couple times a week to start.
There you go, Randy.
All right, well, I know how you can motivate me. This will be the final question. Since you said that you were going to get to Ireland a couple days early and get acclimated in food, and so where's a great food place that I can come and eat when I get to Vegas in 2 weeks?
Vegas, oh man, you're putting me on the spot on that. There's so many good spots out here. But for me, just because it is good balance, I like a place called Skinny Fast. So they got options for healthy, and they call it the healthy side, and then they call it happy side. So you got like fried foods and all the different types of, food that's not the best that I can eat. But it's a good, and it's got like a good ambiance. They got like a beer lounge in there and everything. So it tailors to both audiences, I guess. And that's probably one of my favorites out here.
Well, then I will have to give that a try when I'm out there in a couple of weeks. Jamie, thank you very much for your time. Have fun next week. I know that all the work is done. Now it's entertainment, and your reward will be next Friday. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong, as well as some stuff from Bucked Up Energy Drink as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate that. Bellator 302 next week back in Ireland. I need to go back to Ireland.
Yeah?
Had a good time. I won't do it with the same person I traveled with last time,
Okay.
but maybe Steve and I will go hit up Ireland. All right, let's go hit a break. Coming to you live from the studio. We'll be here for the next couple of weeks as all 3 of our boards are being fixed. They all blew out at the same time. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong, staff owned